Thank you for clicking on part 4 of our Norwegian Epic 7-night cruise that we took back in March of 2022. In this video, we'd left Curacao the night before and we're heading over to Grenada. Because of the distance between the two islands, we ended up having a half day at sea and a half day in port. Unfortunately, Grenada ended up being one of our least favorite islands that we visited during the cruise, mostly because we tried to explore on our own and had kind of a negative interaction with one of the locals. And we can dive into that in the video a little bit later. It was so bad that some of the other cruisers that saw what was going on waited for us back at the port and made sure we got back on the ship because they were so concerned about our safety. And I kind of really appreciate that, because that's one thing everybody should kind of do is when you're in a new environment, keep an eye out for your friends and the people that you know from the ship. You never know what's going to happen. And because of that kind of negative experience, if we ever go back, we'll probably be booking an excursion specifically through the cruise line, just to give us an added sense of security. Other than that, before we hop into the video, there is a link down below for 10% off at Paradise Adventure Co., who's actually going to be rebranding their name to Hello Sunshine. And part of this whole prep for rebranding, they are doing a huge sale on their Floatz Sun Glasses that lets you buy one, get two free using code FREEDRINKS. So please check that out below and enjoy the video. We started off the day by enjoying some breakfast in the main dining room and then wandering back to our room to enjoy our balcony and the complimentary bottle of bubbly for booking the suite. I have to say we got very spoiled on the last two cruises because the ships were selling only at 60%, which meant the pools and the hot tubs were almost never full. It made for a very relaxing half day at sea.
Under my umbrella, oh, shelter from the cold. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? all alone. Your eyes match the weather, raining under pressure. Oh, you say you wanna go, yeah. So let's get away from here. Let's get away from here.
We got to the port around noon that day. Fort George was within walking distance of the port, but it was a very intense walk. There were a lot of stairs, and it was a very steep street to get up to the fort. The admission was only a few dollars and wasn't bad. When we got in, we noticed another couple from the cruise listening to a gentleman talking about the history of the fort. We assumed it was a tour guide that was showing people around. We saw the other couple started looking a little uncomfortable, and they actually walked away from us, just leaving the two of us with this gentleman. While we appreciated some of the information he was sharing and the amazing views, it was at this point that Holly and I started to feel very uncomfortable, because he kept attempting to take us into parts of the fort where other people were not.
Strangers found lost in time with one another. The hourglass takes us further from here. Strangers found lost in time with one another.
We did not feel secure. The gentleman kept attempting to calm us down because, for all we knew, he had actually no ill intentions. But once he tried to take us into an old dungeon in the fort, where there were literally no lights and was pitch black, it was our breaking point, and we said we had to leave. As we were trying to exit the fort, he demanded that we pay him for the 15 minutes we spent with him. And that's when we realized that he actually didn't work with the fort, but was simply a local, acting like he worked there. We only had $15 cash, but he wanted $20 from us. We told him that was all we had, and we tried to get away from him as soon as possible. Luckily, we were close to the police station. We were able to avoid any sort of escalation. Once we got away from him and back on board the ship was the only time we felt like we could truly relax. The initial couple we bumped into were by the gangway to get back on board, and they waved us down, stating they were very worried about us. And we have to say we really appreciated the concern. Like I said at the start of the video, if we go back to Grenada again, we will definitely try to book something through the cruise line. It was an absolutely beautiful country, but definitely not the sort of experience we wanted. The Sky Vodka Ice Bar is a must visit as a very unique experience on board the ship. It was a blast. The bartender was super friendly and kept us engaged for the full time inside of there. We were given robes to wear inside, and the ice chairs had furs on them to keep you warm while seated. The only thing I should mention is you were locked inside of this freezer for 30 minutes and there's no bathroom. So make sure you use the bathroom before going in. They had a variety of drinks to choose from, and even some non-alcoholic drinks for the kids, and shot luges for the party crowd. It was a fun way to take the edge off the day, and the reservations fill up fast, so make sure you book this one early. We had dinner that night at Moderno Churrascaria. If you've ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse before, this will meet your traditional expectations. They had a basic salad bar with soup and a few other fruits and veggies as well. They bring out large skewers to the table with different cuts of meat throughout the meal service, and all you need to do is tell them how you would like your meat cooked, and they will cut off the appropriate selection to the doneness that you want. Overall, it's a great experience for dining, and especially if it's not something that you do on a regular basis.